Good evening, everybody. I am Pixie from Planet Pixie. I plan weddings and events with a difference. I'm joined this evening by Amanda from Amanda's Beautiful Ceremonies. If you do have any questions, please feel free to comment along. Just say hello, let us know you're there. And if you are watching on replay, please do #replay and still feel free to ask us any questions. One of us will come back to you. Good evening, Amanda.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So for anybody who is watching, you may notice a slight delay, just a pre-warning. We were going to say something really cool, like Amanda's in the middle of a sea on the cruise, but we just have a bit of a signal issue. So if there is a bit of a delay, please do bear with us. So Amanda, tell us about yourselves and what you do.
Well, I am Amanda from Amanda's Beautiful Ceremonies. It's just me, and I do wedding ceremonies. That's my specialism, but I do all sorts of other ceremonies. So I do baby namings, vow renewals, funerals, pet ceremonies. And if you want a ceremony and one doesn't exist, then I'll create a ceremony for you.
That's the beautiful freedom of a celebrant, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm an independent celebrant as well, which means if you want some religion, you can have some religion. And, you know, with a humanist, you can't do that. So lots of people think that, you know, if you say you're a celebrant, they say, oh, you're one of them humanist people. And because they seem to be the most commonly known celebrants.
Yeah.
But there are literally hundreds of independent celebrants out there. And we have a lot of similarities, but that's a huge difference because these don't matter at all. So if somebody wants a prayer or in whatever ceremony I'm doing, they can have it. You know, if they want totally non-religious, say, or interfaith or mixed faith, LGBT, not a problem. They can have literally whatever they want. Now, I know a lot of humanists say that their ceremonies are the ceremonies without limits, but not 100% true. Because if you're I mean, you probably know this, but if you're a humanist, you tend to, that's a lifestyle you choose to live as well. You know, it's like being a Buddhist. You know, that's your belief system. So, and quite often humanists are in the Humanist Society of Great Britain. And therefore, that mindset, that set of beliefs influences what they can do in their ceremony. So, you know, for anyone looking for a celebrant, it's good for them to know that. If they're not bothered and they don't want any religion, then fine, you can have either.
Yeah. So, well, it's always really important, isn't it, to find a celebrant that you gel with and that can do what you want to do. But it is important to know that just because one celebrant can't, it doesn't mean that another can't.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, people say, well, why would people want a religious ceremony if they're not having a church ceremony? But actually, you know, some people might want, like I've got a couple at the minute, and her parents are quite religious. She's not very religious, neither is the groom or his family. And when I spoke to her about it, she said, oh, it might be nice to have a little something in there just to respect them because they'd love it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's nothing
there's
to
really
stop. Oh, sorry, you've cut out.
I'm still here.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. You know, and there are religious readings that if you're religious, you know they're religious. We don't mention Jesus, God, or anything. But if you're religious, you know. If you're not religious, you wouldn't even know they were religious. And they're really beautiful, actually. There's some really beautiful religious, you know, and they can maybe 4 or 5, you know. So
yeah, and again, a religious ceremony is quite structured. It's kind of done for you, but just because you have I will very much say that faith and religion are two different things. So if you have a faith, you maybe don't want to follow a religion at all, or even if you do follow a religion, it doesn't mean you necessarily want to have everything dictated for you. So again, a celebrant,
that's right,
is an option, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And you know, especially I know we're talking about weddings, but with things like baby namings, sometimes people want a bit of religion, but they don't want the whole, you know, I mean, I was a mother, but I chose to be a special parent, you know, because of all that thing that you have to say about renouncing the devil and all of those things. And I just thought, I don't think I can really do that in all honesty, but I can do everything else.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people have christenings for the coming together and the significance of it, even if they don't believe in the religious element of it. And people have godparents as like a symbol, or you know, a way of bringing somebody into the family, even if they don't believe. I mean, I know people who have given their children godparents and they don't believe in God. So again, a celebrant is an alternative to doing that without compromising and kind of pretending you believe something you don't for the sake of your event, really.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, because you just call that person a special parent or a mentor or a life coach. You just don't use the word God. But actually, all the readings and the way you carry out the ceremony, it can be, well, it depends on what the couple want. It can be really similar, or it can be totally different. You know, I know we're talking about weddings, but it's the same. You know, there's so many
any event really.
readings and you know, there's so much scope there. That
and again,
it's nice. You know, I'm quite freedom. Yeah, and I'm quite a creative person, so you know, if somebody says we want something totally different, I'll just sort of come up with a few ideas and say, well, how about this and how about that, you know. So structure and processes are there, you know, and I'm trained to, I have loads of ceremony resources that are all quite structured. But to me, it's almost like, sometimes when I say to couples and don't understand, I said, it's like when you decorate your Christmas tree. Your Christmas tree is a certain shape. Actually, that's like a ceremony, a wedding ceremony, because the ceremony is very broad at the beginning, and then it all hones into like the angel at the top of the tree or the star is the vows and the wedding ring exchange. You know, we're trained to, that's the top of the mountain that you take the couple to, and you know, all the guests to. You take them to the top of the mountain. So that's your bare bones structure. What I do is I help with that couple's particular decoration. You know, so where do they what do they want at the top of their tree? Do they want an angel, or do they want a star, or do they want something very traditional to their family? You know, where are they going to put the lights, the real flashpoints in their ceremony? You know, are they going to go at the beginning, or are they going to go all the way round like on a Christmas tree? Do they want tinsel, or do they want it quite plain? So, you know, it's a bit, that's quite a good parallel, I think. And
it's a good analogy to explain.
For me as well, I have very significant decorations that have been given to me from people who might have passed away. You know, I have one with my cat on it, and my cat passed away, and they're always really special, and they go on certain places of the tree. You know, and it's like people say, oh, you know, this has all been on our tree for 50 years, and we want that to go in the middle of the ceremony, or you know, this we all love tartan, so we like the ribbons to be tartan ribbons because that's really important to our family. So it's very similar, you know, it's very similar. But people never believe me when I say you can do whatever you want.
I think everybody's
kind of believe me, you know.
Well, I think everybody's had so many things drummed into them with tradition over time. And I think that it's one of the main reasons I do these lives, so people can see that they don't have to do what they think they have to do, and that you can do it the way you want to do it. I think in this country at the moment, you know, there's certain words that you have to say with a registrar to be legally married, and certain paperwork you have to sign. Other than that, you don't have to do anything else that anybody seems to tell you. that you have to do. Like the things I see people, the questions I see people ask sometimes make my, they blow my mind. Where does my mom have to get ready in the morning? Well, wherever you want her to. I think a lot of people have had a lot drummed into them, haven't they, over the years? So how did you get into being a celebrant? How did you get into doing what you do?
Well, interestingly, it's quite funny actually, because it's Mental Awareness Week, isn't it, at the minute? And for the last 6 years, I've had a really sort of tough time in my life. And my brother died unexpectedly. And at that time, I was teaching. I've been teaching for over 30 years. I didn't even know what a celebrant was. And I'm from quite a big family, but I was very close to my brother. So a lot of the responsibility of organising the funeral sort of I took on really out of choice. And I knew he wanted me to do it. And my stepmom said, well, we could have a celebrant, And I said, well, what's a celebrant? And I looked it up, and we decided on a celebrant. And I didn't know what one was. And I said, well, I'll do the eulogy. I'll write something, and I think I'm okay to stand up and say it. So because they live, hour and a half drive from me, I didn't actually meet the celebrant till I emailed him quite a few times, and he seemed really nice, but I didn't meet him until the morning.
Till the day.
And he made a beeline for me straight away. Yeah. And I honestly thought that was going to be the worst day of my life. And I'd never had to deal with anything like that in my life before. Nothing so close to home, And I just thought, this is going to be horrendous. And I was going through a whole lot of other stuff at the time as well. So I just thought, wow, this is just going to be so hard. And he met me outside and we had a chat, and he said, look, I think you'll be fine, but if you crack up or whatever, I'll step in, and I've got a copy of what you've written. And anyway, it all went fine, and it was just the most uplifting thing, which sounds really odd for a funeral, but it was genuinely the most uplifting thing that I had ever experienced. And I was like, wow, this is just incredible. And I thought I'd really like to be able to do that for other people. It's such a nice thing to do,
Yeah.
And so I thought about it, and then I thought, look, there's a lot going on in your mind, a lot of things going on. You're probably just grieving. And I spoke to my husband, my family about it, and they said, oh, yeah, you'll be really good, because at work I was quite high up in teaching, and I was a head of year, so I was always doing assemblies, public speaking.
Yeah.
So I knew I could do that bit of it. I'd speak to like 3 parents in an open evening. So I said, you know what, I'll leave it until the summer when I've time, and if it's still there nagging in my head, I'll look at it. And it just wouldn't, I wasn't thinking about it, but it's not going to go away. So I investigated it. I trained while I was still teaching. I trained in the evenings, proper qualification though, off-qual qualification. And funnily enough, I kept in touch with him, and he had trained with the same fellowship. And he left the fellowship, but he said, no, their training's excellent. They're really good. And he really supported me all throughout the 2 years I was training. If I got stuck with anything, he said, like, give me a call or email me. And I'm still in touch with him now. And really, it's down to him. So, but initially I did funerals. And then I thought I might as well do things and the whole training, there's 2 parts. You can do just funerals and just weddings. So I thought, no, I'm all or nothing. So I thought I might as well do weddings and baby names. Well, you never know, I might end up doing that, because at the time I thought I would do funerals. But since then, I've had a lot of loss in my family and close friends, a lot.
Yeah.
And I've done funerals for close friends and family. And when it came to setting up my company, I just thought, do you know what, I will do funerals, but I'm not going to advertise that I do funerals. I'm going to focus on weddings, because I just want to do nice ceremonies for a change, you know?
Yeah,
Give yourself a little break.
happier. It's funny, look, a few celebrants that I've spoken to have said that it's off the back of of personal loss and a funeral experience that's sent them into being a celebrant.
It is. It's like, for me, it was like a calling, I think, and it just wouldn't let me go. You know, it was just there, and I over the years recently, I couldn't be bothered to study anything, you know, because I've been teaching for years. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to read, and you know, I didn't need to learn very much more about teaching. Not that I knew everything, but I knew what I needed, you know, and I had that. And I thought, this is going to be really hard. But once I started training, it was hard, but I actually loved it. I really enjoyed it. And I surprised myself in how I obviously with teaching and marking, you know, I had to set aside time because I had to complete it by, you know, a certain number of months. And it's a lot, you know, it was a lot of work, a lot of guided learning hours. But so, and I like to think, I remember talking to my brother a lot about what I was going to do in the future and if I was going to retire. And, you know, we had a lot of very personal conversations about it. And then he passed. And I was thinking it's almost like his legacy to me, as if to say, like, this is what you should be doing. Go do it, you know, just go and do it. And so I thought, yeah, you know, life's too short. And teaching's changed a lot as well. And although I still enjoyed it.
I could do. No, it's something I could do. As somebody who wanted to be a teacher when I was younger, I actually remember the moment I decided I didn't want to be a teacher, because I was sat in my maths class in secondary school, looked around and thought, couldn't teach you lot.
Yeah.
Decided against that. We have a question of, can you ask a question? Yes, by all means, please do feel free to ask us any questions in the comments. And as long as they are appropriate and related, we will answer them. So what is your, cause obviously you like to do the wedding side, and there's endless rituals. What's your favorite rituals? Which ones do you tend to do the most?
It's quite a hard question because I just, you know, there's a lot more ceremonies than I offer. So I chose ones that I thought would be popular and ones I like to do.
Which ones do you?
I like the most popular one. I think I do, which actually is on my website because I did it as a one-off, and then everybody loved it, and I thought, you know, I should offer this. And it's almost like a modern hand fasting. It's called Tying the Knot, and it's the one with ribbons, and it's really nice, and it's very, you know, hand fasting is a really ancient ritual, and if you do it properly, you do it outside, and you summon fire, earth, water, air, and, you know, some people dress up, you know, almost like it's not Wicca or Druid, but some people go for the whole dressing up thing.
Yeah, it's quite a pagan. I think hand fasting is quite a pagan thing, whereas I think people like that, but because that's not their religion, they've started to do tying the knot as a similar ceremony.
I mean, it's more Celtic than pagan. And a lot of people think, you know, it's Wicca or EBGB, and so it isn't at all. It's got very long traditional history, but it's very sort of outdoors. You know, if you can do it at Stonehenge and places like that. It's a very sort of earthy grounding ceremony. It's quite long as well and lengthy. So a lot of people like the idea of binding with ribbons. So tying the knot is just quick, easy, modern, you know, and it's really photogenic. But jumping the broom's great as well. Yeah. That's really great. But that has issues because it depends how you look at it. And of course, everything's very woke now. It has issues that go back to the slave trade. So some of its roots are from there. When slaves couldn't legally get married, it was something they would do. Having said that, yeah, you don't, when you do the ceremony, you wouldn't know that, you know, in the way it's worded. It's really nice ceremony, actually, because you're sweeping away the old, and then the bride and groom stand there and, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of the rituals seem to come, different people have different histories to them, so it's always quite interesting to hear the different stories that come.
And I'll tell you, when I was looking up ceremonies quite recently, because we study, as part of the, you know, qualification, you study where all the ceremonies come from. So, but sometimes when I'm looking online, I found a site the other day and it was all about jumping the broom. And it's really popular with Afro-Caribbean couples, mixed race couples. You know, 50% of the photos were, you know, mixed race couples or Black American couples, you know. So I think it's just down to the individual and how they feel about it. But I do always explain that to people if they say, oh, we'd love to do the jumping the broom, because I think it's only fair, you know, that you're open and transparent, because I would hate for them to have it in their ceremony and, you know, any of their guests to know and be mortally offended, you know. I'd hate that. So it's something I always broach with it, but it's lovely. It's really photogenic.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them here. As long as they're, you know, as long as they're respectful, we won't ban anyone. Where we're here to answer questions. So what is your do you have a personal favourite, or is that asking you to pick a favourite child?
Yeah, it's a bit like asking me to pick a favourite child, really, because you know, there's so, like, sand ceremony is lovely. You know, I've got all my ceremony stuff behind me. I don't know. I can see the sand.
I can see the sand. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and that's really good because you can have your kids can be involved if you've got kids. And they can have their own stand, you know, and you get a nice keepsake. The same with the Unity Candle ceremony. That's really nice. You can have more people involved in that. So it's more, I don't know which is my favorite. I would, Tying the Knot is probably the most popular. And so, like I say, it's not actually on my website, but now it's, I have 3 different price packages and I offer it in all of them because it's just so popular.
Yeah. I think every time I speak to a celebrant, the most popular and usually one of their favourites are the more interactive ones, where you can get your guests more involved as opposed to just it being kind of a you and them situation with the couple and the guests.
Yeah, it is. They are the most fun, but some, like, if you do a hand blessing, that's really nice, but the couple doesn't have to say very much. They just hold their hands like this, and the partner holds them, and I read something on their behalf. So it says, look at your partner's hands, raise your partner's palms to the sky, you know, and it's like, these are the hands that will always be there to comfort you. These are the hands that will help you build, you know, the relationship. And it's really, really, it's quite a romantic one. But it does, again, couples can write their own words to that part. You know, if they want to say, these are the hands that they'll put up against their ears when you're singing into your hairbrush, or, you know, these are the hands that will promise to do.
That's probably the one from this house.
Once a week. Yeah, I think most houses. So, you know, within that, you can just write your own stuff. You know, I mean, this hasn't happened to me, but I know a celebrant who had a couple, and they had Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, in the middle of their vows. And it was a real classic because they tricked everybody on purpose. So they started off with quite formal vows, and like, I promise to love you until the end of time. And then one of them said, I promise I'm never going to give you up. And then the other one said, I promise I'm never going to run around or desert you. And then they did that for a little while, and then eventually everyone started laughing. They got it. They twigged, and it was quite good. Yeah, and so you literally can. I mean, one of the couples said to me, the favourite movie we like watching together is Grease. And I said, well, you could have a Grease-themed wedding. And she was like, oh yeah, I could stand there and, pretend to put a cigarette on the floor and say, you bet, in the middle of the vows, like, you better shape up because I need a man, that can keep me satisfied and all this sort of stuff. We were cracking up. You literally,
do whatever you like, can't you?
Yeah, you can have a flash mob in the middle of your ceremony that you know about, and obviously they know about, but your congregation has no idea is going to happen. Yeah. I mean, you just do it once. Just own it. That's what I say. Just own it. And
I say all the time.
I mean, just own it.
Yeah,
it's your day.
Definitely. And I say it all the time. I'm always saying to people, if you hold up 2 wedding photo albums from a distance and stand back so you can't see the faces, can you tell which one is yours?
Yeah.
That's it's about you, so make it your day. Feel free to ask us any questions. However, we're not necessarily religious, so depending on what it is you want to know, is whether we can help you. But I think this is more about not necessarily being religious. But yes, again, feel free to ask us any questions. So what process do you take people through? Somebody decides, okay, I want a celebrant, but that's all I kind of really know what I want. They get in touch with you. What kind of process can they expect to follow?
So we do a initial Zoom call. I get all the basic information from them and explain what about, and then they decide whether they want to book me or not. Then they give me a deposit. Then I arrange to meet them, but also during that time I send out 2 questionnaires. And the other thing a lot of people don't realise is if you get a good celebrant, they will choreograph a ceremony with you. So my first questionnaire is more like, where's the venue, indoors, outdoors, have you got bridesmaids, how many bridesmaids, have you got a flower girl, best men, groomsmen, are you having music when you walk in, do you want traditional, standing? So it's all about choreographing and what sort of ceremony they want, modern, mixed, something different. And then after they've done that questionnaire, they get one which is about them as a couple, which is quite funny. So it's loads more fun than the first one. The first one's all like the practicalities. And the second one is things like, where did you meet? 3 things you love about the person, 3 things that annoy you about the person. Where do you see yourself when you're 80? How do you see yourself as a couple? What do you feel about love and marriage? What sort of things you like to do together? Obviously, nothing too rude. In those answers.
I always think when I hear about these forms, I think my mind would go blank. I would get this form and be like, I suddenly know nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and quite often I'm not going to be sexist, so I'll say one of the partners is more romantic than the other. So sometimes one of them doesn't want to fill in as much as the other person. Fine.
I have a feeling that
if that's the way they are.
If I can guess which way around those statistics would be, I would guess that my house would be the opposite. I think we'd be literally the opposite.
Yeah, well, there you go. So then I've got loads of information about them. I'm getting a sense of who they are. I'm thinking about nice things they've said that could possibly go in their ceremony. But I always say to them, I might use something from here in your ceremony, but, you get to see your ceremony loads of times before, we agree it, and you have to be happy with what's in it.
Not going to surprise them with
information. No. Then I go and meet them, spend some time with them. Not like, loads of questions, just chill out with them, maybe go for a drink, go for a meal, go for coffee at their house, talk to them about the wedding, talk to them about them as people, find out what they do, what they love.
Get a vibe of who they are.
I need to get a vibe, definitely. And then I go away and I start to create something. And, I've got bookings for 2 years down the line, but I'm in touch with those couples every 2-3 weeks. And just to check everything's okay, check they're not getting too stressed, not about the ceremony, just about any wedding stuff.
Any element.
I'm sort of like, I've always got my couples back, and if anybody's messing them around, or they say, look, my photographer said this to me, is that the case? And I know it's not the case, I'll say no, and I know a lot of people in the industry, so if I don't know, I can find out. And then, we start a sort of friendship, really, meet up with them again. I send them as many scripts as they need. So normally it only takes about 2 or 3 rewrites for me to get it right. But however many it takes, it's just, until they're happy with it, I just tweak it. And then nearer the time, if the ceremony's quite a way away, I'll go and stay over. So I'm there the night before. Sometimes we have a rehearsal the night before, sometimes the next morning at the venue, because that's included, a rehearsal, if they want it. I help them write their vows if they need that. And then I arrive at least an hour before the ceremony, and I'm just calm everybody down, make sure they're all right, make sure, if the bride says, oh, I'm not sure so-and-so's bought this, or I said to the venue, I want, the cake on this sort of a stand, can you go and check it's on that sort of a stand? I just run around and just make sure everything's how they want it, and make sure that they're calm. I used to teach psychology, so I know a lot about stress and anxiety, so
yes,
I'm pretty chilled out. And also in the role that I had at work, in my last job, I'm quite used to diplomatically telling people if I'm not happy about something and it needs to change. I'm not afraid of going up to a venue organizer or manager and say, look, the bride said they wanted it like this, and I'm not sure that's what they wanted. If it needs to be said, rather than them stressing about it, or the mother was stressing about it, or the bridesmaid who might only be about 15, I just I'm a sort of Mrs. Fix-It. I just make sure everything's right, because everything's got to be right. End off. It's they're paying a lot of money. It's their day, and if they're not happy about something, then I'm not happy. So and
again, it goes back to that vibe, doesn't it? You want a positive, happy, calm vibe for the couple, for the guests, and for the other suppliers as well. Nobody needs to be pulling their hair out.
Yeah, I mean, I do things sometimes, and I don't always. So one of the brides had in the venue for a long time, and they said they called back, and she was getting really stressed about it. And I know the venue really well, and I was thinking, this is really unlike them. Normally they're really good. So I phoned them and told them and said, look, can you just touch base? And it had just been a mistake. It was like a 1 in a million, and it was just a genuine mistake. It wasn't that they had thought, oh, we won't get in touch, and they were actually mortified, when I said that she was
I think
so
that's
stressed.
the thing, isn't it? When you don't know the suppliers or the venues, or you're only getting that one experience. If it is that one-off, you don't know that it is just a one-off. So to have somebody there who isn't emotionally as involved either, who can just calmly kind of step outside the situation and say, okay, what actually is going on? Is it a mistake? You know, can you just not do what you've got to do? Or, you know, how can we rectify it? I think that's a massive element of the stress that is removed by just having somebody there.
And also, you know, I said to her, look, why don't you just phone them and touch base? And, you know, a lot of brides are quite young. They're not very, you know, no offence to them, they're not very worldly wise, and they don't want to rock the boat because, you know, these people are in charge of their wedding, so they don't want to upset them. And I get that. But, so
yeah, I think it's a personality thing. You know, a lot of people just don't like picking up the phone, and they find it quite intimidating, full stop. So to pick up the phone and rattle someone's cage it is daunting for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I did, and like I say, the venue were mortified, and I said, well, I thought you'd want to know, because I know you don't normally, you know, you're not normally like that. And she said, oh, I'll tell her you called. I said, no, don't say anything. Don't say I've called, because I don't really want her to know. I just need you to say you'll call her today or tomorrow. And she said, right, we'll do that. And literally the next day, the bride contacted me and said, oh, you told me there was nothing to worry about, and they called me, you know, yesterday. And I was like, oh, brilliant. You know, I said, it's really unlike them to be like that, but you know, I'm glad they called you back, because you just want, you know, the best for them.
Peace of mind, yeah, and peace of mind for people as well is one of the most stressful things you do, isn't it? So if people can help, let them. So where do you cover? Where in the UK, presumably, and abroad, if you so fancy? Where do you cover ceremonies?
I'll go anywhere. Seriously,
Anywhere sunny.
Yeah, well, I'd love to do destination weddings. Haven't done any destination weddings yet, but I love to travel. And, you know, I haven't seen a lot of the UK, so I'm quite happy to travel in the UK. But, you know, it has to be, if I'm going to travel a long way, it has to be for something special or a special couple, I think. You know, if it's just a bog standard wedding and I'm not being a snob, if it's just a bog standard wedding in, you know, a hotel somewhere, which is sort of nice but pretty ordinary, I probably wouldn't travel 3 or 4 hours to get there and stay overnight and come back, you know. But other times I'll travel and I won't really charge, because I'll spend it wherever it is, I'll spend a few days there. So I won't charge travel or hotel. If I think, oh, you know, if there's a wedding in Scotland, I've only been to Scotland once, and there's lots of bits of Scotland I'd love to visit. So if I don't have another wedding that week, I'll go up and just spend some time there for me as well, you know, and make it part of my holiday.
It's about the experience, isn't it? And if it's a better experience for you, and it's something that you are really into and you really like their ideas and you're really passionate about, they're going to get a better experience as well. Yeah,
100%. I mean, I can't say because I don't want anyone else to get them, but I have contacted quite a few unusual places to get married. And they're not all licensed venues, but they don't need to be. And obviously I'm not going to say now because I don't want any celebrants to leap in and get them. But I love marrying people. Yeah, I love marrying people in unusual places. But I just love marrying people. But I do there's a couple that are getting married at a zoo and nature reserve. I've got one couple getting married in a castle, you know, and I just love all of that, you know. It's just such a great experience, and I love doing photo shoots as well, because they're usually in unusual places, you know, really nice stately homes or a beautiful forest somewhere, you know. So I love all that. Go on, you speak.
I was just going to say, in the general run of life, it's very easy to forget the amazing places we do have in this country.
And the other thing for me is, because I'm retired, and yes, it is my business, I don't have to have a certain number of weddings a year. You know, I don't have to break even. I don't have to, well, yeah, I would like to break even, but I don't have to worry about that. because
Yeah.
you're
not in
I'm
it for the money, you're in it
semi-retired.
for the experience.
Yeah, and I just love it. I'm in it because I love it, and I'm really passionate about the fact that it's good now because all of this stuff is going to the government to think about legalising, weddings with celebrants.
Yes, I really want that to happen.
I really, and I'm really passionate about saying to couples, look, there is more than just a church or a registry office. There is more. There's so much more you can do, and whether you book me or sometimes if I'm with a couple and I'm getting a sense that they're not the right fit for me, and you can sense it on the Zoom. I'll always give them advice about celebrant weddings and advise them to find another celebrant, because that's the vision they've got, and they're going to get so much more out of their wedding, whether it's me or whoever, And I get very angry about, the wedding laws in this country are so outdated. It's just ridiculous. And as celebrants in my fellowship, we're all fighting, to get the change. And I struggle with the way registrars work, because, and I say it and I put it in my post because people don't realise. And I think when people talk about registrars, it's almost like, people see them like almost like judges, very sort of high authority people, and therefore assume that everything is true and proper with a registrar, which legally it is, of course,
Mm-hmm.
it's a legal thing that they do. But I just, if you book a registrar during the week, it's probably about under £100. Yeah. You know what I'm going to say? If you book them at the weekend at your venue, it's like 600,
I know exactly where it's
700.
going. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's just, it's not right. If you work for a company and you work weekends, they give you double time. You don't charge the customer double time or whatever. And
certainly not 8 times as much.
Yeah, exactly. And I always have to put when I post about it, because when we think you're just saying it because you want them to book you, I always say check the website of your registrar office. If you don't believe, look, because I just think it's scandalous myself, and because it's exactly the same ceremony.
Yeah, it's just that little bit of legal element, isn't it? I mean, my partner, when I first said to him about that, I think I was probably having a little rant, knowing me, about the fact that there's 2 sets of wording, and you have to say one or the other to be legally married. It was like, but that's ridiculous. He's like, how can anybody prove you said them? I was like, well, they can't. And he literally refused to believe that was even a thing, to the point where I had to go and find the written law, the actual written legislation, to prove to him that, as ludicrous as it is, that is the case in this country. You have to say specific. And his reaction was quite right. And it was, well, why for me to be married and express my love for somebody else do I have to use somebody else's words? It's just...
and there's hardly any choice. You can't have music, you can't have anything spiritual, anything religious. It's just like,
it's one or the other, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just like, signing a birth certificate isn't the same as a christening. And it's like that. Signing a registrar's certificate is not the same as a wedding. It's not a celebration.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of paper. One of my couples said to me, they said, do you want to know if when we put the registry office? I said, it doesn't make any difference to me. And they said, oh, good, because we don't care about it either. It's just signing a bit of paper, our ceremonies with you. And another couple said, oh, can I come down and meet you? And they said, oh, yeah, we're both having the day off, date in May, because we're just going to go in our lunch. We're going to go at lunchtime and just do the registry office bit. And so that'd be a really good day because we both got the day off, so we can come and plan our proper ceremony with you. It's just...
isn't it crazy that actually the bit that people don't care about is the legal bit. It's the whole point. It's the,
Yeah.
it's the bit that actually makes you married in the eyes of the law is the bit that people don't care about. And it's the experience and the sharing it with friends and family in the way that they want to do is the bit that people do care about. So why don't we change the laws? It's ludicrous.
And you don't have to exchange your rings in the registry office. If you say to the registrar, we're doing it with a celebrant, they don't care. You don't actually have to put the rings on or anything if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But you can do it again with a celebrant, which some people do.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, the only differences, well, apart from the freedom with the celebrant, in terms of the legality, the only difference is the words.
Yeah. Why does it matter? If you're signing the contract and you're making those same promises of, well, I might upset a few people. I don't necessarily believe that it has to just be two people either. But that's a whole other tangent. But if you're making the promises of till death do us part, then whatever else goes with till death do us part is nobody else's business, in my opinion. If you want till death do us part and you have a third person, or you want that to be open, or you want to promise to do the washing up or swear that you'll never do it, it's no one else's business. You're just promising till death do us part, as far as I'm concerned, and to treat each other well. As long as that's what you do, you treat each other well. Why does it matter?
And why can't I say the same legal words that the registrar says and legally marry someone? Because it's just words. You don't have to. You just read it. And they're not ordained. And sometimes when I do funerals, I read the Lord's Prayer or I lead the singing of a hymn. But I'm not a vicar or a priest.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Why
it doesn't mean me doing it is any the less significant, because it's about the ceremony. It's not about the legality of it. It's about the ceremony. And
anybody can form a legally binding contract. Like, we could have a conversation right here, right now, and form a legally binding contract. We don't have to be fancy pants people to do that.
And it's the same, if you have to be married under a structure. And that's
another one that I think. Yes, I think we could probably rant about this for quite a while. So perhaps on that note, if you'd like to share with people where they can follow you, we'll wrap this up and then we can continue ranting off air if you like.
Yeah.
So how can people get in touch with you? Where can people follow you?
Okay, so on Facebook, I am Amanda's Beautiful Ceremonies. On Instagram, I'm just Amanda's Ceremonies. And my website is www.amandaceremonies.com. And I also have a YouTube channel, which is Amanda's Beautiful Ceremonies. Do you want my phone number or email and phone number or not?
If they're on your any of your pages, I'm sure people can find them. Or if you want to share them, that's up to you.
Yeah, they're on all my pages. And if you go to my website, as I said, www.amandaceremonies.com, there's a calendar. You can book just a no obligation chat, and all of my social media channels are on there as well. And there's loads of free downloads and blogs and stuff, and all the details of my ceremonies, because my ceremonies have 3 packages. £500 is starting package, £750 is my silver package, and then I have a VIP package which is £1,500, but that has a lot of VIP free extras within that package, hence the cost. So there you go.
Thank you very much. I'll just pop you off air and I'll be with you in a moment. So thank you for watching. Again, if you've watched on replay, please do #replay. Feel free to ask us any questions that you might have. If you do get what you need from these interviews, please do let me know. what value you get. There's the word. What value you get from these interviews, and if there's anything that you don't get and you feel like would be beneficial, if there's any type of supplier from any types of events, not just weddings, that you would like me to interview on here, any information you would like to know, please do comment, send me a message, let me know. Please do feel free to like this page, join the Facebook group Plan It with Pixie, which is where these lives will eventually go. And again, join me next week when I'll be speaking to another supplier.